there's your dark face.
It's really dark though. I need to turn the light on.
Okay, we are recording. So I just want to thank everybody for hopping on. I should probably mute people.
Love you guys.
I don't even know how to do that. So, oops. Anyway, if you're on and you're not going to be a person that's talking, maybe if you can mute yourself, because I didn't figure that out yet. Mute yourself. I'm going to mute myself. Okay, so anyways. So 8 of us just got back from California. I know I was like on a crazy high, and then the jet lag set in, and Monday was like, oh my gosh. And now I'm finally like, I think getting back to sort of normal me. But it was amazing. And I thought it'd be great if we could kind of share from each of us who went just a few snippets of like, here was my favorite part of convention. Here's what I took away, this specific session or this speaker or this whatever it was. If we could just kind of share with the team that wasn't there, so that they can, have that to move forward. And, with each of you, if you could just obviously say your name, maybe say where you are and when you onboarded with LuLaRoe, because it was kind of cool that some of us have been in the business like over a year and some of us were like 6 months or less. So we definitely have some different perspectives here, and I think that's awesome. So who wants to kick things off? Anybody? Or I'm just going to pick somebody.
I will.
Okay.
Is it me?
It's you. Nikki.
Okay. Well, I've got a few takeaways. One big one that I took away was the income producing activities, to really get focused on that. And I didn't look at it from that perspective. So now every day I try to think of what kind of income producing activity can I do for this day. So, and it kind of gave me a little push into my uncomfortable zone. And I went to the park to walk with my family, and I brought me some Lula cash and my business card and passed them out to complete strangers. So it felt good. And, the convention really kind of pushed me into that mindset of thinking about what can I do to produce that income. So that was one of my big ones. And then I was really, really, really amazed. I already knew that LuLaRoe was a good company, but I feel so blessed to be a part of LuLaRoe after seeing all the good that they did over the weekend with the Down syndrome fundraiser and all that. It's just amazing. It gives me chills to think about it and all the good things that they did and all the people that they touched over the weekend. So I'm very blessed to be a part of LuLaRoe. And I am extremely happy to get my passion back, because I struggled there for a little while and wasn't sure what path I was going to go on. And I'm happy to have my passion back and ready to rock and roll.
Yay! Love hearing that. So, Nikki, Can you just tell people real quick where you're located and how long you've been with LuLaRoe? That's okay.
I am from the Troy area, and I onboarded in March. And cool. I'm Nikki.
Thank you, Nikki.
You're welcome.
You got your mojo, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Very happy.
Cool. Who wants to go next?
I can go.
All right, here's Miranda.
Okay. I'm Miranda. I have been doing this for a year, this past April, so a year and a couple months. And I did not go to convention last year, so this was my first convention. And I'll just talk about like my favorite speaker. I enjoyed all the professional speakers, but the one that really hit home for me was the mentor from Cincinnati, Emily Henry. We kind of walked in like as she was talking, so I missed the beginning part. But what amazed me is that she's a mentor and she still has a full-time job with Procter & Gamble. So, it can be done. And she talked about like having your no misses. She said that She doesn't wrap her packages in pretty packaging. She doesn't use an Instagram account. She doesn't do a lot of things that other consultants do, but her no misses are she wants to put her kids in bed every night, and she wants to provide great customer service, and she wants to keep her job at Procter & Gamble. Those are her no misses. So for me, I needed to sit down and like write a list. Okay, what are my no misses? Because I'm a creative person, so I like doing some of the creative stuff, but that's also very time consuming. So maybe I need to decide if making the fun graphics, even though I enjoy it, is that a no miss for me or not? So I'm starting a list of what my no misses are, and I'm just going to have to learn to let go of the other stuff because it's just a time suck.
Cool. And I didn't even get to hear that. So one of the things that you should know is that with 20,000 people, the one time we were all together was at the Katy Perry concert because we were in Angel Stadium that could seat, 60,000 people. So throughout the day, like there was a morning session and an evening session, or like AM, PM. So like some of us heard different people, and I've heard awesome things about her, and I'm definitely thinking since she's in Cincinnati, we got to find a way to get a hold of this girl and see if she can come talk to us, because I'm hearing amazing things, but only like half of us got to hear her speak. So very cool. Thanks for sharing. Who wants to go next?
I can go. So I can kind of piggyback off of what Miranda said. Sorry, am I muted?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. So mine was kind of along the same lines as, and I think she even said a quote, I wrote it down: when we strive for perfection, we end up failing at everything. And, not that I try to be perfect, but I try to just do everything. And that just causes me like a lot of anxiety. And so like when she was talking about her no misses, just like I have to figure that out. Like, what are my no misses for my business and for my family? And once I go back to work and start teaching again, like, so different aspects of my life and the different titles that I have, like what are my priorities? What are the things that I must do for all of those different titles? Because if I try to do everything, then everything's just going to be out of control. So that was kind of like my biggest takeaway. In addition to just like realizing, that this is the right this is the right thing. Like what I'm doing, like I took more away like from a personal level than anything. I think it's just like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like it just reaffirmed that this is for me. Even though it is stressful at times and I work really hard, I'm doing the right thing. So it just kind of like reaffirmed that this is where I'm supposed to be.
Awesome. And Shannon, how long have you been with the LuLaRoe?
Oh yeah, sorry. I onboarded at the very end of May. So I had my first sale in June. So since, about 2 months.
Awesome. Cool. Annie, you're on my screen. Do you want to go next?
I made it! I couldn't figure it out, but I made it. Oh, Lordy B. All right. So
Annie's the entertainer of the group, by the way.
I am. I tried to get on my freaking computer and it wouldn't work. So I got it on my phone. All right. So I'm Annie. I'm a trainer with LuLaRoe. I've been doing this for a little over a year, but this is my first convention. I didn't go last year. And it was absolutely incredible. I'll try to keep it short because I learned a lot of stuff. One of my big ones was the lemonade stand. So I posted this in FPs. You can look on Lindsay's thread. But they offered lemonade, which I thought, oh, how nice. Like they offered lemonade stand in the experience area. Then they kind of led you around to where there was some postings about, were you offered lemonade? Was it offensive to you? And I was like, what the crap? Why would it offend me? And then I started reading, and it said, if you were at a friend's house and there was a pitcher of lemonade and she never offered it to you, and then at the end did, and you were kind of wondering why she never did, and she was like, oh, I was afraid to offend you. Like, you can apply that to LuLaRoe. And it's so true. I even struggle with that a little bit. Like, it's much easier for me to say, oh, yeah, I'm an OB nurse. Well, I'm not working as an OB nurse right now. I'm a retailer. So it kind of bled into that, or to why we're afraid to ask people to host pop-ups, because we're going to help them and benefit them by getting free clothes. So I thought that was neat. IPAs, I know that was mentioned too, income producing activities. We don't want to, pick up pennies and miss picking up dollars. And I struggle with that. Like when I get tied up in my phone, like making cute graphics or using this new app called Lumiere, I think it's called, like a video thing. Like I spent so much time making a freaking graphic in my VIP group. And I'm like, I could have been taking like wall drops, calling people to host a party. So I have to really, it makes me stop and think, what am I doing that's really not worth my time, and it's really a time suck for me. I met with Julie Cash. That was so cool, and got to thank her in person for my ticket that she so graciously awarded me. And just talking with her, like, again, she's a mentor in the company, but she's a mom and she's not a top seller, and she's fine with that. And she was very honest about some things, and that she loves doing this, and it's amazing, but she has, priorities. And so it was really cool to talk with her too. And then my last one, I promise, was a quote. It says, if you don't build your dream, someone will hire you to build theirs. And that was huge. So we can do it. We can all do it. Get out there and kill it and make your dreams come true. Because if not, someone will hire you to build theirs. So that was really neat too.
That's a good one. Awesome. And so something you just said, I want to comment on. So you said, so like you used to say like, oh, I'm Annie, and people, oh, what do you do, Annie? Oh, I'm a nurse, right? Well,
yeah.
So within the last several months, I quit my other job and I just do LuLaRoe, and I've been working on what to say, because people, when I meet people, oh, what do you do?
Yep.
And at first, my answer was, I sell LuLaRoe. And then I realized that is not what I want to say. And so I've actually been working on like my answer to that. And I'm still working on it, but I've kind of started saying things like, well, I own a clothing boutique in my home. Or I own a LuLaRoe clothing boutique. But usually I say like, oh, I own a clothing boutique in my home. And then people are like, oh, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's LuLaRoe. Have you heard of it? And that kind of like, no, leads in. But I don't say like, I sell LuLaRoe, because then automatically I feel like people are going to be like, she's trying to sell me something. And like, ultimately, like, that's not what I want people to know that I do, is sell things. Like, so I'm still working on that, but it is hard when that's your only job is LuLaRoe, and you don't want to, saying like, I'm a retailer. Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out the right wording of that. But anywho.
Annie, is that a new Shirley? I just have to ask. Did you get your Shirley?
My gosh. No, is not a Shirley. I didn't order them. You guys, I have to be careful. I would not wear this on my LuLaRoe Annie Britton page. It's a kimono from my sister-in-law.
Okay. Because I know you asked for that.
You're fired.
Go change.
But it's just our team call. If it was Lulu or Annie Britton, I would like have this off and have my shirt. But like I have for her. It's not LuLaRoe, but it's so cute.
Okay, enough. Alicia, since you're wearing a Shirley, would you like to show everyone your shirt, please?
I love
it.
Yeah. Okay. Show it off, girl.
I put it on and John's like, you still have the tag on. I was like, I love it so much. So let's see.
I should have lied.
Oh. This camera's awkward. You see my dog down there. So I just stand on my chair. I feel like that's a bad life choice. I'm going to do it anyway.
Oh,
so
Lord,
fun.
don't fall.
I'm spinning around.
Okay, crotch shot. Sit down.
I have great talent.
Crotch shot.
All right, Alicia, why don't you share with
You're
us?
welcome. Sorry to everybody who had to room with me all week. All right, so I'll share. I am Alicia. I am in Johnstown, and I launched in January. So this is my first convention as well. I had a lot of takeaways from it. It's very, convention is like, that's a place to be. Like, it's awesome. If you guys have a chance to go next year, absolutely go. Like, that was amazing. So one of my big things is that I took away was that people like consistency and a schedule. I struggle with this a lot because I am orange with a very strong gold. So I like to have the plan, but I also don't always like to follow the plan. So I'm a huge contradiction of myself. So going with the plan, like I like to have it, but it doesn't always go as planned, and that's fine because it doesn't really matter to me. I find consistency kind of boring because of who I am. So, but like the big thing, like top sellers and people who have a lot of traffic on their Facebook page, they have a consistent schedule. You know, they do live sales on Monday, album sales on Tuesday, shop the box Wednesday, wall drops on Thursday, and their page knows it, and they can plan for, you know, what they're wanting to look for. They know what's going to happen. So I am kind of a, you know, whatever kind of scheduler. And when I get a new box, then I'll photograph it, whether it be a Monday or a Thursday, and I'll post an album sale. So I'm gonna work on sticking to my schedule because I can make a schedule like there's no tomorrow, but sticking to it is a big thing for me. So that was a big one for me. And then another one is that they said a lot was get up, get cute, get out. So, you know, when you're getting ready for the day, get up before your kids, get cute, and go do what you do. I struggle with that too because I am not a morning person. I wake up at 8 a.m. if I need to be somewhere at 8:30. So I wear a lot of hats. So I'm gonna try to work on that. Hopefully with the school schedule coming back up, that'll be easier. And then another one, I had a lot of them too. Because I am orange, I am very sarcastic. And that is a personality trait of mine. But they touched on flipping it into positive language versus negative language. Not so much that I'm negative when I'm sarcastic, but sometimes I am because it's sarcasm. So, you know, they example that they used, instead of saying, you know, I'm not meeting my goal, switch it into I'm doing everything I can to meet my goal, not my goals. So swapping it into a positive versus dwelling on a negative, something that's not happening, switching it to like something you're working toward instead. So I got to work on that one too. Same thing that Nikki said, like the people have a lot of crap to say about LuLaRoe. You know, their leggings get holes, quality, overpriced, all that garbage, none of which I agree with. But if you have seen on any pages about the opening night of the LuLaRoe event, there was some snafus, scheduling stuff, planning letdowns, that kind of made some consultants angry, but you know, LuLaRoe always came through and made it right. You know, from the minute that it happened, like that night, they issued an apology to consultants and made it right the next day. And you know, this huge half price legging thing, because we give out leggings like there's no tomorrow, and they want us to give and give and give, and they're making it easier for us to do that. And I think that's really awesome. And then my last one, I swear, is actually from Katy Perry. Ironically, in the closing concert, she had my dog is rolling around. She had a malfunction, and she went on this whole, you know, happy birthday spiel and everything because it was Jill's birthday, like the Jill. So what I took from her is, you know, she didn't seem to know a whole lot about LuLaRoe. She was trying to talk styles and everything, and she fumbled a little bit. But her thing was, you know, she had announced that everyone in attendance had a disease and that it was contagious, and that disease was joy. And she was like, they're not drinking, they're not partying, they're just genuinely happy to be here. And that was, that's 20,000 people. Like, that's a lot. And to have the ability to have that effect on someone else, whether it be Katy Perry or, the person on the street or somebody having a bad day, and you can be that light in their day, and it is. If you're happy, somebody who is sitting there like all snaggletooth angry can't be mad for long if you're sitting there like laughing and having a good time. So that's me. We're touching other people without knowing it. Even Katy Perry.
Awesome. Allison, you want to go ahead and share?
Sure. So I'm Allison. I have been in LuLaRoe. I onboarded December 1st was my call. It's been a wild ride since, and I just want to say I'm super proud of Shannon and Nikki for taking the time to go to California. I think it's a huge sacrifice and financial, I don't know, it's expensive to go. So I'm just super proud of them, and I think their businesses are totally better for it. So it's certainly something to strive for next year because it is a huge, big deal, and you learn so much. So I jotted down a few things. It was a lot to take in for sure. One thing that hit me was to follow up with people. I don't know why I don't do that. I send the thank you notes and everything, but when it comes to following up, I don't ever follow up. And I've always been told the fortune is in the follow up, and how big is that? That's a part of your relationship building. This business is about relationships, and you retain customers when you have a great relationship with someone. So following up is just a part of that. And someone in one of my sessions reminded me of the statistic that 80% of sales are made with a 5th to 12th contact. So, someone may buy a pair of leggings with you, or you may just hand out a business card, but it's not going to be until that 5th contact with them, whether it's just saying hi or, reaching out to see if they need anything or whatever, that, they may feel more comfortable enough to be a good customer of yours. So I thought that was great. And it's also, following up is just another way to serve. Like I said, you ask them, how are you doing? Do you need anything? You get to know them. If there's, any needs that they have, it doesn't have to be just LuLaRoe. So I thought that was pretty big. And I want to piggyback off of Alicia. I wrote down, LuLaRoe has our back. The beach situation, there was some mishaps, some issues, and this brings up 2 points. LuLaRoe has our back. They made it right in the end. It was, I'm not a huge complainer, but it was, not that great. But they made it right in the end. And then, another example is the TC2 leggings. They had announced that MAP was 27. They changed it to 25. I mean, it's just, they are continuously having our back. They are for us. You could hear their heart on stage. Deanne and Mark are all in, and, just trust in the company because they have our back and they want us to have theirs too. So, so the second point of that whole situation is, there were retailers that were angry, but, we have to take this lesson, and you can say, oh my gosh, this happened, blah, 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 blah. Or you can be positive and say, but I'm in California.
And we
I
got
was on a
pizza.
beach. Yeah. I mean, you can try to switch it up in your brain, to make it a positive. And, we ended up having pizza that night. It was fantastic. LuLaRoe made it better for us. That was fantastic. I mean, just trying to switch it all, just kind of like Alicia said, piggybacking on her again, trying to make things more positive. Me and Alicia. And, so another thing too, I'll do 2 more things, and that's it, I promise. So the professional speakers were amazing. The people sitting next to me, which were Nikki and Shannon, just probably had about a cow when Brendan Burchard came out on stage. I went, oh my gosh, I've followed him for years. I'm so excited to see it. I mean, they were probably like, whoa. But this guy is amazing. I've followed him for years. He is so motivational. He had a near-death experience when he was very young, and I guess fortunately it happened when he was young, because he was able to have a different perspective for the rest of his life. And his big thing is he had to step back and ask if he actually lived in his life, and if he's actually loved and loved big, and then did he matter? So those were 3 big points that he has built his entire empire on now. Just trying to help people change that perspective. So how can you live a little bit better? How can you love a little deeper? And how can you matter in the world? And using LuLaRoe to matter can certainly happen. It's LuLaRoe is definitely a vehicle to do that with. Last thing. DeWitt Jones was also a speaker. He was a photographer for National Geographic, and his speech was amazing. His speech went with pictures that he's taken, along his journey in life. And one of the things that he said was at the very beginning of his speech. He was talking about a stone chipper, 2 stone chippers, working on this cathedral. And one person, this guy went up and asked him, what are you doing? And the guy was, kind of looking and like he was tired and just not great. And he said he was a stone chipper, and he was just chipping away. And then he went to the other guy, and he was doing the same exact thing. But when he asked this guy what he was doing, he said, I'm a cathedral builder. And he was happy about it. And he was, joyous about it. And he knew that what he was doing was going to be bigger in the end. And so that's kind of I'll see it, or I'll believe it once I see it is not the right way to go about it, but to believe it until you see it. So that can be for your LuLaRoe business. You set a goal and you are chipping away, but are you that stone chipper or are you the cathedral builder? I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so that's all. I'm gonna stop talking now. So there you go.
So I got a note from Handy. So Handy Zabraki also went to convention with us. She actually had a last minute hang up and couldn't join us. And she's been a retailer since April. Same time as Annie and Miranda, so a year and a few months. She also mentioned Brendan Burchard, and I will, or however you say it, and I was going to share about that too. He had 4 things he said to live by. One was, I must raise my ambitions and refuse to settle. 2, I must live each day with intention. 3, I must not overcomplicate and just jump in with courage. And 4, I must find something to fight for. Those were things that stood out to me too. Handy says, it's all about mindset and having goals. She said, dream big. She said, Megan, I don't know who that was, but Megan talked about having a goal to cruise qualify, but also to lose 15 pounds, to live her life, to make a goal and change your mindset and do it, even if it's hard. So I will say that some of the things that stood out to me, so they had a guy come and he talked about dreams and like his job is like dream manager. And then in another session we were in, there was a LuLaRoe, I don't know, she was probably a mentor or something that was sharing about dreams also. And when I came home, and whenever I come home from these trips, my husband and I get together and we do what I call vomit, which is where I just spew all of the things onto him. Like, here's everything I learned. But one of the things we were talking about is like, I am so goal oriented, right? I'm like, I got a goal, I'm going after it. Here's how I'm going to achieve it. But like a dream is different than a goal. And so I've never really had dreams, because to me, if I have a dream, then I just make it a goal and I go for it. Like, so I need to do a better job with dreaming, because they had us like they want us to make a list of 100 dreams, which seems crazy. But when I started thinking about it, like I don't know, I just started like saying things that like might sound crazy to people. Like, what if I paid off my house? Like, what if I had no mortgage? Like, is that crazy? Maybe. Could I do it? Yeah, maybe I could. And like, that's a dream, but I could totally go for it. So a lot about dreams. The main thing I want to talk about, and we literally have 2 minutes left because I have a timer going down my screen, was Patrick. So one of our sessions was a fashion show. You guys, it was insane. Just so cool because it was so professionally done. Like a real fashion show, but in LuLaRoe clothing. Amazing. Really hot guy models too, by the way. So Patrick came out and talked for probably a good 30 minutes, which you guys never get to hear him talk for more than 2 minutes on the call. He talked about all these retailers that are going out of business and basically what makes us different. And some of the things that he talked about that stood out to me were making commitment. The fact that most retailers get to order twice a year. You get to order like in the fall and in the spring, and then you hope you got enough stuff to sell. And then if you run out, too bad. And if you have too much, that's when you clearance. And he's like, we have the opportunity to order 365 days a year. And that's what makes us different. And he just talked about taking risks and all these things. I know we're going to get cut off. So what I'm going to say is, I have a bunch of takeaways, and I also know that we had like 8 or 9 different sessions that were offered throughout convention. And so what I'm going to do is on our team page, I'm actually going to create a poll, and I'm going to list a lot of different topics. And if you could please go ahead and go and vote for topics that would interest you to have future trainings. And if it's something I feel I can train on, or someone here, or maybe I even can contact the person from convention and have them do a training for us, I think it'd be awesome if we can bring a little bit of that back to our team. So look for that poll. I'm going to go ahead and do that tonight or tomorrow with some different topics, because I know that we're going to run out of time here. But I just wanted to say thanks to everybody who went to convention. Hopefully it's your goal to make it to convention next year, because it is amazing. It's basically where you get pumped up, full of all the LuLaRoe, all the feels. You get obviously just tons of training. You get inspired. Like, just it's an amazing place to be, and I would love for like everybody to be there next year. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and I hope you all have a great night. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in.